Let's look at a case of debugging in HTML. Sometimes your code just doesn't seem to work. You think you have it all right, you've double checked it, but when you try to click the button, nothing's happening. Most of you have probably experienced this phenomenon. So let's look at how we can debug this. How do you go about finding this defect in your code so you can correct the failure? Let's take a look at the code. Okay, I have an HTML page. I have an input button that calls convert to meters, and I have a function convert to meters. Well, the first thing I could do is just add a debug statement to see if I made it into the function. I'll save that and refresh, and I'll try to see if it works now. Oh, well, it is getting into the function, so I know there's nothing wrong with the hookup of the button to call the function. Okay, let's go back to the code and look. Okay, I'm trying to get the converted meter time by using the yard time. Well, let's see if I'm actually calculating that converted meter time. If I save it and refresh, okay, I'm inside the function and I am calculating a value, and that does look like the correct value, but nothing's being put into the meter time box. Okay, so I know I'm getting a correct value, but nothing is going into meter time. In this case, I'm able to isolate it to line 26 without commenting out any code. This particular function only had 2 lines of code in it before we started putting in the alerts, so there's not a whole lot that we needed to try to comment out to find the problem. We were able to identify it by just adding in alerts. We know something is wrong with this line, meter time dot value equals converted meter time dot to fixed. Well, I could comment out that line and just see if I could put anything into meter time. I'll comment that line out, and I'll say meter time dot value gets the value of 3. Let's just see if we can get anything in there. I'll go ahead and save that. Refresh over here. Okay. Another thing we can check is the debugger. If I do the option click on Chrome, I can go to Inspect. And if I make this a little bit bigger, you'll see that there's this red X somewhere. If I make sure I'm on the Console tab on the top and click on the red X if it's not already showing up here, and it's going to tell you what it thinks is the error. It says meter time is not defined. Well, that's interesting. Let's go see. Well, meter time, I'm using dot value on it, so that should be my DOM object. Well, the browser was supposed to create that for me. Why would it be undefined? Well, let's go look and see where we defined it with the ID. We could do Control F or Command F if you're on the Mac and type in that meter time. And we can see on line 17 there's meter time defined. And on line 27 and 26, we're also trying to use that meter time. Now, if you don't see the difference right away, sometimes it helps to just copy paste. Do you see the difference? Let me copy paste it. Control C, double click, Control V, Now it's on my test line of code, and I'm going to save it. Come back here, refresh, run it. I still have my debug messages, and you can see the 3 did successfully get put in there. Okay, well, let's look at the code. What's the difference between line 26 and 27 when it comes to meter time? Do you see it now? There is a capital T on meter time. It does not exactly match the ID. Case does matter. So now we'll correct that. We can comment out our test, and let's see if it works. Now when we run convert to meters, we have found our bug and we have fixed it. The bug was that meter time was spelled incorrectly. There was a capital T when there was not supposed to be a capital T because it did not match the ID exactly. Remember, once you're done debugging, to clean up and remove those alerts. If you're still in the process of debugging, you can comment them out. But once you're done, you really want to delete them out of your code so your code comes back to a state that's easy to be read.